Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Rich in the Philippines. Steve has a day off, and as always, thanks for your support. Today we're going to talk about something that I really thought long and hard about before I came here, and I don't know why. I think I told you that I fixated on cell phones before I came here, and then when I got here, it really wasn't that complicated, and so that was easily fixed. The other thing I fixated on was banking. Was I going to be able to get a bank? How was I going to get my money to myself? How was I going to pay my rent? Those kind of different things. And so I decided that I needed a bank account. After much thinking and much ruminating on it and reading tons of chat rooms and videos, I decided I was going to get a bank account. And so I basically struck out and did it on my own. The only thing I didn't do on my own was my barangay clearance. So first off, pick your bank. And I'm sure you're going to have lots of input on which is the best bank, who's the easiest to deal with. You know, I ended up picking BDO for the locations, for just, it seemed like their ATMs and their bank was everywhere. And so I picked BDO. The next was the location I picked. I picked the mall. And the reason I did that was because they seem to be open, the mall banks seem to be open one day more than the regular branches. And also, you know, if you're at the mall, it seemed more convenient to me. And it turned out to be the case that the BDO at the mall was a good choice for me. Okay, so I picked my bank, I picked my location. So the next thing I did was go into the bank, and I literally searched out the manager, and I introduced myself, and we became friends, and we're still friends. And I asked him, what will it take to open up an account here? And he told me the parameters, and one of the things was a clearance, a letter from my landlord, of course my passport, and then my SRRV card, or what status I was on my visa. I said, okay. Then I had an expat actually take me down to the barangay office, and we did the clearance and the ID. And that took about 45 minutes. And then I met the barangay captain, which was kind of cool. You get to know the people in your neighborhood, as Mr. Rogers would say. And so then from there, I struck out on my own and went to the BDO and met with the manager who I met. And it was an experience. And I say that because just like in America, especially after the Patriot Act, just like in America, you just don't walk into a bank anymore and open up an account. Maybe that's good, maybe that's bad, I don't know. But in the Philippines, that's not the way they do it. So I submitted my barangay clearance, I submitted the letter from my landlady, I submitted my passport, I submitted my ID for my visa, and we were off to the races. And about 2 hours later, he brought to me the paperwork, and it was really interesting because they really wanted to make me happy. I got to know the manager, and he said one of the biggest things that he sees, and I see this a lot of places, is that foreigners who come into his bank and complain. And he said that that's one of the biggest issues, the biggest fears that they have is foreigners come in and complain. And I assured him I wasn't like that. And so I started the process and got done with it. So then you get a choice of, do you want your ATM card to have your name on it, or do you want it plain? If you want the ATM card plain at BDO, you get the ATM card right there. If you don't, you have to wait for it to go out to, I don't know, Manila or Iloilo or Petaluma or somewhere else, and then it gets back in about a week or two, and you get your name on it. Now, the other mistake that I did was I picked a 10,000 peso savings account, which means you have to keep a minimum of 10,000 pesos in your savings account, or you get charged a fee. And I think the fee is maybe 300 pesos, and that's just for that 1 month. And it doesn't seem like a lot of money. However, I just hate paying fees, and I should have got the 2,000 peso one. I don't know what I was thinking. And not that that's a lot of money. It's just that I use the card, in town, the ATM card. It's kind of like a Visa debit, just like all debit cards around the world. I use it a lot to pay for groceries. It helps me with my budget too. So I did that. I got the 10,000 with my name on it. So everything's cool, and I'm putting pesos in. I'm transferring money. One of the number one reasons that I love my BDO and I love my branch is I do remits there. So I do Western Union, I can do Remitly, I can do Wise, I can do all of them through BDO. And they know you, and they know me. And so I walk in, and they're like, Mr. Richard, come in. You are rich in the Philippines. Joke long. And so he sits me down, and he helps me with the paperwork. And usually, if they're not busy, within 10, 15 minutes, 20 at the max, unless the system's down, I get my money. And it's so painless, because then I try to do remits at, let's say, Walter Mart, or any of these little offices around the city in Trece, and it's a struggle. And I've actually do all my remits now with BDO, and it's a charm. It's just a breeze. So that's the first thing, is remit. Secondly, you can use your BDO account to buy currency. And you may think, it's not a big deal. We just recently had an expat leave, and he went to a BDO to buy dollars back because he had a fistful of pesos. Because we recommend having an emergency fund and having pesos on hand, just in case something bad happens, you have pesos. And he was told something interesting. So BDO, you can buy currency, but you need to have your ticket, your passport, and you need to have an account there. And I found this out also, not so much the hard way, but they're like, okay, well, email us your ticket, which I did when I recently traveled out of the country. And I did. And the other funny thing is, is that it took about a week for them to buy the currency, which was okay because I plan ahead. So you can buy currency. You can use the ATM card at ATM machines, and you can use it at like Walter Mart to buy food, anywhere that regular credit cards are accepted. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, well, credit cards aren't accepted everywhere, which is true. They're not. However, in the bigger to mid-sized provinces, they are at a lot of the restaurants, the movie theaters, at the malls, at Walter Mart. You can use it a lot, and you can also use it, like I said, to budget. The second thing that you could do is bank-to-bank transfers. And you may say, I don't know if I want to do those. Well, when I got my health insurance through Michael Olmsted, Steve talks about that quite a bit, that I could not get my credit card or any other card to work. And so what I did is I did a bank-to-bank transfer. I did a SWIFT here in the Philippines. And it was mostly easy. It took about 20, 25 minutes, maybe less. And I've done it a couple times with BDO, bank-to-bank transfers. Now, here's the sketchy part. At least I think it's sketchy. I tried to do a bank-to-bank transfer to a foreign country. And oh my gosh, it was work. And actually, I ended up not doing it. And here's why. I went to do the bank-to-bank transfer to another country, and I was told that if it's not America, what they do on a bank-to-bank transfer is they actually, if I understood him correctly, and you'll tell me if I'm wrong, I'm sure, is that they actually send out the request to a third party and they buy dollars. So if you're going to do liras or bahts or Mexican pesos, they send it out to a dollar exchanger, change your pesos into dollars, and they use the dollars then to buy the lira or the bahts. And I thought, man, this is kind of crazy. Then he gave me a form to fill out. Again, this is a bank-to-bank transfer of your own money to a foreign bank. Excuse me. And then he gave me a form to fill out that was tremendously long, and it literally wasn't worth it, at least in my mind. So I went home and thought about it, and I looked at all my options. Okay, my option is to do an American bank to the foreign country, or excuse me, or to use the remit to do it. And then I looked at Western Union, and Western Union has a section on there where you can do bank to bank. And the BDO, the Philippines bank, was going to charge me $10, which was 500 pesos, roughly, to do it. Whereas Western Union was going to charge me $2 to do the same transfer. So it took me literally 10 minutes or less to do the Western Union transfer to the foreign country transfer. And they got it within a matter of 15, 20 minutes. And they let me know, hey, your transfer just came into us. So it worked out perfect. I didn't use the bank. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about, and I know I'm running late on this, and I want to talk about the thing about the complaining foreigners. What I did, and what I've done all my life with vendors in my businesses that I've dealt with, whether it's marketing or broadcast or Harley Davidson, whatever I've done, that I've made friends because I like the people. So I literally, in the beginning of my relationship with BDO, I literally brought them donuts. And those donut holes from Dunkin', you know, what did I spend? I maybe spent $7, $8 on a big gob of donut holes. And I made sure that everybody, you know, the people behind the counter, the guards, I made sure that everybody had them and knew that they were from me. And it wasn't that big of a deal. I really felt that they deserved it because when I walk in there, I mean, they know me, they treat me well, they move my remittance really quick, and I feel I get good service. With all that being said, you know, this is my experience with a Philippine bank. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't traumatic, it was, it's been mostly enjoyable, and I really like my manager. I recently took another expat there, and we were there for almost 3 hours, pounding through his application to join the bank. Now, he didn't have a long-term visa, so he was on tourist visa. So we had to do a lot of tap dancing. But after 2.5, almost 3 hours, he got his account. And he sent me a note, said, hey, thank you, because without you, I think everything would have taken longer. So in closing, I think that a Philippine bank is important to have. It's important to have for many reasons. As one more resource to have your money in. It's definitely great to have for the relationships, for the remits. You know, you don't have to go into Walter Mart for remittance. I won't do it. I won't do it. It's not a good outcome. So, but going to my bank, you know, they know me, we're friends. So let me know your thoughts on banking. And I realize that this went long, but again, it's a lot to think about. And I think it's important to have a bank account here in the Philippines. Let me know what you think. This has been Rich in the Philippines. Have a great day.